Wikipedia. So if I'm going to Wikipedia over here, has anybody been to Wikipedia? Raise your hand. Great, I see a lot of raised hands. So you've all seen Wikipedia. And if I go here, and let's say I find an article, Adora Sweetalk. Okay, so I have a Wikipedia article. Adora Sweetalk, etc. Okay, so now, if you look over here, this very tiny button, it says edit. If I hit edit, I can easily log in and then just edit that page, okay? So anybody can edit an article on Wikipedia. Why would that be bad? Or not necessarily good?
Because their information might not be true.
Right, some people might put in information that isn't true. So let's say there's, let's say maybe if there is an article about a famous person, there's somebody who doesn't like a famous person, they might go into that famous person's article and change something to say, so-and-so has had a very bad history of drunk driving or something. So if you go to Wikipedia and you look at an article, some of them are correct, but others might have been edited by people who are changing things around. So that one is not always correct. Which means that you really have to do investigative work to investigate the website. You can't just look at a website and say, oh, it's on the internet, this must be true. Some websites are safe bets because they represent an organization that you already know about and trust. For example, I think that you can trust the following website to provide some great, accurate educational resources. PBS is always a good one. I find a lot of good information from PBS since they do a lot of educational TV programs. LOC.gov is the Library of Congress, and in general, .gov websites are good resources for finding information because they're by the government. They will usually be regulated. Bartleby is a good one for finding books, and you can use library catalogs as well to find good books for your topic. And dictionary.com is it has sometimes annoying ads, but it is a fairly good resource for looking up words. So these are some resources, and you might have your own list of websites that you know and trust. So what are some websites that you know and trust? Google? Well, yeah, search engines, we can use those to find meaningful information as long as our searches are well crafted. What are some other websites you know and trust?
Yahoo.com.
Yahoo, so another search engine. So what are some other resources that you could use to find information besides search engines?
You can ask.
Okay, like ask.com. What are some other ones besides search engines?
You don't have to you can just type in the name of what you're looking for and then do slash, remember slash like you do.
Okay, so yeah, definitely searches help turn up new resources, but there are some websites that you might be familiar with already. So for instance, if you watch the History Channel and you know their content and you think that you could find some meaningful information on their website, history.com might be a good one. So there are many resources that you may know of, search engines that you can use. Other websites might be a little more questionable because maybe they're created by organizations or people that are unfamiliar to you or are questionable. So what are some websites that you might be a little wary of? If you look at a website, what are some reasons you might be a little wary, a little scared of it?
If you go to a website and all this different stuff keep popping up.
If there's lots of things popping up, yeah, if there's lots of ads popping up, if it's always trying to sell something, yeah, then that might be a little bit questionable. Now, what about if you went to a website about, how about if you went to a website about the United States, but it was owned by an organization that is very anti-American? What would be wrong about going to that website? What do you think would be bad about finding research from a website like that.
Maybe they wrote like lies about it.
Yeah, very good. If you go to a website about somebody, something, or a country, but it's owned or operated by an organization that is against what they're writing about. So there are websites, for instance, there's a website about Martin Luther King that is owned by a white supremacist group and tries to implicate that Martin Luther King was a plagiarist. So you can find some really bad lies and hoaxes on the internet that will try to make you believe things that aren't necessarily true if they're owned by somebody who believes or is trying to spread those things themselves. So here are some questions you can ask while you're investigating a website. Is the grammar and punctuation correct? Why would this be important? Is the grammar and punctuation correct?
But then you can know someone been putting stuff about it. Maybe my stuff. Like different stuff, different information.
Grammar and punctuation is important because, well, one thing, if you are quoting that, you don't want to have incorrect grammar and punctuation in your article. But secondly, if a person doesn't take the time to make sure their grammar and punctuation is correct, they might not make sure their facts are correct either. So if they don't care about grammar and punctuation, they might not care as much about facts. Does the information match what you already know? So for instance, let's say that you know that Francis Drake, the explorer, was from England. But then you read an article that says that he came from New Jersey. That is a discrepancy there. So does the information match what you already know? Has the website been updated recently? Why is this important? Let's say that you are finding information about an upcoming hurricane. Why would it be important to go to a website that has been updated recently?
Good. Ross doesn't answer this. It's easier. Because it tells you what to do when a hurricane's coming.
Well, yes. If you are finding information about a current event, so a current event is like the healthcare bill or the war in Afghanistan, then you would need to go to a website that is updated regularly to make sure that you get all the latest news. For some topics, like the historical one, an out-of-date website may still provide good information, but you'll want to back it up by checking other websites on the topic that are more current. Right? So what topics would you need a current website for? What are some topics you need a current website for? One that's updated all the time.
Yeah, what topics? Like what were you going to research about that you would need current information about? You think, Bobby? Tornadoes.
Tornadoes, right. The weather. The weather is one you would always need. Tornadoes, hurricanes, rain, snow. This has to be current. What are some other things you need a current website for?
Earthquake.
Okay, outside of the weather, let's get away from weather. What are some current things you need a website for?
The temperature? Okay, outside of weather.
Outside of weather. Let's go to a totally different area.
Like around the United States, like kids going missing. Okay, missing children.
Missing children, yeah, that's a very good one. So let's say that there's an Amber Alert for a missing child. You would need to know the latest information, whether that child was still missing, etc. So the news, missing children, the weather, these are all things you would need a current website for. It's okay to have a website that hasn't been updated regularly, let's say for something about Elizabeth Cady Stanton. Elizabeth Cady Stanton she worked for women's rights, but she lived and died in the 1800s. So that website wouldn't really need to be updated a whole lot unless a lot of new information we just learned about Elizabeth Cady Stanton. What are the organization's goals? So when I say what are the organization's goals, what do I mean there?
What do you think about it? To get you to learn. Okay, tell her. To get you to learn more about it.
Well, maybe if you were going to an educational website, that would be their goal. So an organization's goals is what they're trying to do. If I went to the Iams Pet Food website, what is their goal? What are they trying to do?
They're trying to do
Sell you pet food. Yeah. So if I were looking up what kind of pet food would be best for my dog or cat, I would not want to go to I Am's Pet Food because I Am's Pet Food wants to sell me pet food and will say I Am's Pet Food is the best. I want to go to a neutral one. So to discover an organization's goals, you might try clicking on the About section of the website.